Hi, welcome to the coaching game. I am Laurie Lawson, and my good cohort friend is.
Terry Yoffe, Coaches Creating Change. Here we are
I was just going to say, so it
into,
must be Coaches Creating Change
right,
time.
and it's coming to summer. Where
Yeah.
has the year gone?
Where has the month gone? It's like, I know
I
we're
know.
waiting for summer officially, but this has been, it's like, wow, are we really in half the year now? That's just scary,
Right,
a little
right.
scary. But Terry and I were talking, as we are wont to do, and we were talking about what we're doing today. We're talking about, oh, we're so tired, and I said, well, this fits in perfectly with what we were going to talk about because we were going to talk about giving up stuff, giving up things that aren't serving us now, or maybe giving up things that are too much. And then we related it, of course, to, well, how are others doing that? What problems are our clients having, and things like that. So we decided maybe that's a good thing to for the summer. It's time to enjoy more than you usually do for the year. So, well, what can we give up here? What are your thoughts on that, Terry?
Yes, I love it. And it's, giving up, letting go,
Mm,
releasing. We, I think with the pandemic, we all feel a need to play catch up
mm,
in a lot of ways, right? And it can be overdone.
yeah.
And we want to take on, well, we want to make up for lost time, and instead of divesting ourselves of what can I let go of, what can I release, what it's almost like cleaning out your closet, if you will, right?
I
What am
like
I
it.
going to keep? What can I
Yeah.
let go of? What don't I need anymore? What could I put in the back of the closet? What can I bring forward? And it's a little like that. And how can we at least spend time enjoying the summer? What a perfect time to do this.
I like that. I hadn't really thought about that, but I feel like I might be in a catch up mode too. It's like after the pandemic, it's like, well, okay, I felt a need. I've got to go to a couple plays and I've got to do all the things that I really couldn't do before. And then with clients, we can do this now. We can meet for coffee instead of do on the phone and Zoom. So you're right. It's like, and I think it's as part of letting go, might be letting go of the old way that we did business. Which is, weed it out, like you said, what works, works, and what really doesn't work right now, then maybe consider giving it up. But yeah, when you said that, I went, oh, I could be in catch up mode. And that could be why I'm so tired. I look at my calendar, which I have right on the wall here, and I go, what happened? Who wrote all that stuff in there? And I did, and it's like, well, I need to do that. I really would. I was telling Terry, I'd rather be out on the balcony today. It's a gorgeous day, and why not? So what a good point that was. Yeah. And I'm sure, and I hear, we read the paper and they say, okay, now employers are thinking, how can I get all my people back to the building, back to the work? And a lot of employees are going, I don't want to go. So that's a
Yes.
problem too. I don't know that's certainly, I think we should all reevaluate and say, okay, are we in catch up, or are we doing, what did we learn? What did we learn from the pandemic, and how can we use it now? Yeah.
I think one of the things a lot of us learned, hopefully everybody, is life is short. Life is
Mm,
precious. Everyone got to stay home. They got to be with family.
yeah.
And that is a way people started reevaluating. Wait a second, what do I really want? You know, rethinking, reimagining, reengineering. Do I want this job? Do I want the culture? Do I need the corner office? What's it costing me? And that out of all of that came everything else. And now leaders are also being challenged as to how do I lead now? It's a whole different landscape, business landscape.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to go back to the office full time,
Right.
hybrid. They can go 3 days, they can go 2 days. They can get things done. Other companies are closing shop and just saying, work from home. I don't know that people like that concept, but they've seen people don't have to be in the office. So that poses, well, if people aren't in the office, how do leaders lead when it is an empty office? How did they show up? What do they need to do? Oh, it's really challenging for today's leaders. So much has shifted and changed that what was isn't anymore. As Marshall Goldsmith wrote in his, I think his one of his first books, what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah.
And
Great,
that's
great
what
point.
we're all facing.
It is. It's interesting because as workers, we realize that, it's like we never really thought, oh, we're not going to be allowed to go to work. It's like we've always, said, oh, well, we know what we have to do. We know the rules. And then suddenly, oh, there weren't any rules. But it must be doubly hard to be a leader in today's environment because you had a plan. You knew the goals of the company, you knew how to get there, you knew the staff you had, you knew what you needed, you knew your stockholders, and now it's like this is all kind of gone fluid. It's like fluid is even a better word. It's just all flexible and moldable, and those rigid boundaries have been lost. So we're telling leaders, you have to consider the feelings of your employees, and they're going, how do well, since when? Since the pandemic. I mean, look at all the people, the great resignation. People just said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what they're doing, but God bless them, whatever they're doing. It's like, so it's it must be doubly hard to be an executive or a leader in today's environment, because not only do you have to adjust yourself, you've got to figure out, well, how am I going to get the company on the right road, or is there a right road? How do we get on a road? I don't know.
Yeah, that is so on target, so accurate. Very difficult because millennials have kind of shifted the landscape and what they want. They want a leader that's going to show up, who's authentic, who's real, who's vulnerable, who's willing to listen. They don't want a leader that's going to leave their personal at home and only show up as this buttoned up leader. Well, this is what's happening. They want one version of a person. They're demanding it.
Yeah.
And if they can't get it at company X, they'll go to company Y. So there's a lot of musical chairs taking place with people leaving and saying, you know what? There's a lot of jobs out there. And it's, I believe, an employees market at this point. This is what they want.
Go wherever you go. I mean, even in New York, you can say, but wherever you go on vacation, it's like help wanted, wherever you go. It's you were recently on the West Coast. Did you find that also?
I didn't look that hard at the signs.
You were really on vacation. Okay.
Yeah, I was. I was on vacation, and I also am guilty of, as you know, I started a podcast, and it's like I'm always doing something. I don't feel there's a moment of rest for me on that. So I am guilty of not, the only time I don't think about is when I sleep at night.
Oh my gosh.
Things can be consuming, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help your mind to have so much clutter.
No, definitely.
To kind of reprioritize what's important. okay, the weekend's here. Do I want to work? Do I want to think about work, or do I want to enjoy myself and have downtime?
Definitely. Sounds like you've got to do some evaluation too. It's like, what can you give up? Especially when it comes to your podcast. But it's also self-determination is, and I think that was a blessing, so to speak, of the pandemic, because suddenly people were going, you know what? I need to take care of myself rather than say company X, Y, and Z is going to take care of me. I need to do some self, because when it went down, and everybody was scrambling. And it's like, if you didn't have any self-care, and that's not only personal, but that's professional and career wise, you were kind of in trouble. I see as proof. I see, companies that we said, oh, these are the papa companies. These are like Starbucks. They voted, their employees voted for a union. Apple just voted for a union. It's like, you know what? We're not going to trust these big guys. We're going to take care of ourselves. And I think that's probably good. But again, we're back to leaders. Then what do they do? Well, they're used to being daddy. So do you find that some of your clients, when you mentioned authentic, which is a great word, do you find that I'm doing a little bit more work with who are you? Who are you authentically? Because they had that rolled down perfectly when it comes to career. But it's like, who am I? And are you finding that?
So in coaching anyone from A to Z, we always look at who am I, right? That's part of coaching. You're not just looking at the landscape, the outer. You
Right.
are primarily dealing with who these people are. And I actually did have a client a while ago. She worked for a well-known company, and her boss called her on the carpet, not because she wasn't doing a good job. She was doing a great job. It was how she was showing up and what her people were saying. They weren't happy with who she was. And we coached around her, not her business. She was superb at that, but she got called on the red carpet, or on the carpet.
Not the red carpet.
The carpet for how she showed up, how she worked with her team, her behavior.
Wow.
So we had to coach around how did she shift that? And she realized it was okay to be vulnerable, to be your whole self and not leave yourself at the door and just show up as the manager or the person that's in charge. And that's a perfect example of one person. But with every person I coach, it's always about them. How are they showing up? What are they doing? What kind of environment are they creating? So it's, I also work with clients on their core values. That's who they are, not the labels, because labels can be taken away at any given moment. We've seen that. It's who are they within themselves.
And values, that's so interesting, because values shifted. Before it was the corner office, before it was, I need more money. It was, I need to supervise at least 10 people or I won't feel successful. And then suddenly it was like, I want to spend more time with my kid, or, I don't like living in the city and commuting. I want to be out where the grass is and trees and stuff. So values shifted too. So I find that there's a lot of value alignment now. It's like, okay, well, what are your new values? And then how is this meeting your new values? And it's radical thinking in some cases, because you and I, we knew, we came up when it was clear, we were women fighting for the top, but the rules were pretty clear. But now, first of all, millennials have shifted that. They're all over the place. But also the pandemic, it's like, so, what was important, that's something you got to give up. Maybe you got to give up that old dream of, I don't know, who cares? A corner office. Nobody even wants to go to an office. So who cares about the
No more
office?
corner offices.
Really,
It was just a metaphor.
yes, exactly.
Well,
But that was a sign of success. Now, what is your sign of success? So, yeah, good values. That's really an important
right.
one. Yeah.
But what is success mean for you? And
Yeah.
it's okay to look out and want to be financially sound, to have a career that's going to take you somewhere if it's fulfilling.
Mhm.
But it starts within. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to hold on to? How far are you willing to push the envelope before you say, wait a second, I'm done?
Yeah.
So it's rearranging the chessboard, so to speak.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
looking at, again, what are we willing to give up? What are we willing to reprioritize in the name of self-care, in the name of self-preservation, in the name of life is short? We saw that in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And since nobody knows what's going to happen next. Again, nobody expected the pandemic. If you had told somebody in 2019, 18, whatever, oh, let me look at my little, glass crystal
Fortune telling
ball,
ball. Yeah.
and wait a second, people are going to be dying from this pandemic. We're going to be home. We're going to be wearing masks. They would have said, what? What country are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right? Nobody would have suspected that we would have landed where we were in March of 2020. And subsequently, over 1 million people have died. No one.
Yeah.
So when we look at that, we say, wait a second, I'm going to take control of what I can and create a life of value, of worth, of happiness, of family, work-life balance more than ever.
Right. All excellent points. And it's so funny because again, we're talking about, I'm always going to refer to a blog you wrote 100 million years ago called Dancing on Shifting Sands, but I love the title. And but it's, in addition, the pandemic brought us all together. It's like, oh my God, we're all in this together. And yeah, we got to put a mask on them because we're worried about ourselves and other people and humanity. We're just everybody around the world was going through it. But it was also, like you said, self-preservation. It's like, okay, I don't have control of what's going on around the world. What can I control in my world? And how is that again aligned with my values? So it's a delicate dance. And I fear now that we're saying, oh, you hear the word recession a little bit more, and prices are going up in gas. My gosh, that people are going to forget the humanity part. And it's like, oh, we're going to start scrambling again. It's like, well, where's mine, And I hope that doesn't happen because we all still are in this together, But it also does us well to think about, well, there are things we can control. How do we do that? How do we do that? What creates the choice of where we're going to put our efforts? And good lessons going on.
Yes, especially, without getting morbid, looking at the country and what's going on, the chaos, the
Yeah.
craziness.
Yeah.
We have no idea where we're headed. This country is on very uncertain ground. Talk about dancing on shifting sands.
Right.
We all are on many, many levels. And how do we take care of ourselves? For me, I don't watch the news very much. I try not to absorb everything that's going on. I still work. I still do what I do. I make room in my life for what's important. My husband, my family, my health. And we can get sucked in very easily into everything that's going on. And we don't have a whole lot of control over all of that. What we do have control over is how we come to that. And that's it, how we come to it. Yes, we know it's going on, but can we rise above it in some way with our work, with what value we bring to the table with our clients, with our family? So I think we have to be cognizant of letting go, of prioritizing. And when we think we're kind of going down the rabbit hole, okay, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
And stop ourselves and do something good for ourselves.
And well, I think it brings home the point even more, because you're right. Our country is in chaos, you know, and then I don't think anybody's going to say, oh, what are they talking about? We all know what we're talking about. It's just, we're not really sure what the next step is. So it's like, so what a big job coaches have, and what an admirable job also. But it's, I don't know, that's interesting. Do you think it starts with the global picture and filters on down, or do you think it starts with the individual and we reach out? What do you think? I know what you're going to say, but tell me anyway.
I mean, with their feelings,
Well, with
how
we take care of it, how we take care of what's going on right now.
I think it starts with us.
Yeah.
I think everything starts with us and our insides and who we are. If we can figure that out and look at what's going on out there. And, you know, there's a Buddhist saying to be of the world, but not in the world.
Ooh, nice goal.
So it's knowing, I mean, you know, we're not done. We don't put our heads in the sand, but how do we not get sucked in? Because today I speak to, you know, friends, family. Oh my God, look what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm not ignorant. I know what's there, except I need to protect myself. That's what's most important to me. I can't control the craziness, the chaos, the thinking. I can't control how I come to it. And by hook or by crook, selfish, you bet. It's how I show up, because if I'm down, if I'm irritable, if I'm annoyed, that's going to come through to everyone I come in contact with. So for all of us, it's self-care. I think that's where it starts.
It's interesting, because as you're talking, I'm thinking about the mask. It could be the oxygen mask on the plane, but I'm really thinking about the mask that we've come to know and either love or hate or both, you know, during the last 2 years. And you put it on to protect yourself, but you also, as a residual, I mean, and I'm sorry, I know they told you put it on because you're going to protect others. I put mine on because I didn't want to get sick, you know. So but I realize the residual in that result is that, you know, you're saving others from getting your germs also. So you put it on, and it benefits you and it benefits mankind, so to speak.
Right. Well, and it doesn't matter. I was away for a week. Planes, some had it on, some didn't.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Wherever I go, indoors, especially, you know, other than if you're going to a restaurant, you're going to eat, I kept it on. Even in the street, sometimes I keep it on. But I'm looking out for me.
Yeah.
and
And
my
I think it's
well-being.
okay to say that, before it was, they tried to make it all this altruistic thing where, oh, put it on for your fellow man and older
Yeah,
people and
well,
younger. And it was like, no, I'm putting it on for
right,
me.
right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's, that's, that's the conundrum for leaders today.
Yes.
You know, how do I want to give, but yet take care of myself? How
Mhm.
do I take care of my employees so that I have a company culture that people want to be part of rather than fleeing out the door? Right? How
Yeah.
do I retain good talent? Because if good talent isn't happy, they're leaving, they're gone.
Yeah, they seem to be. I mean, where they're going, I don't know, but
Well, there's many jobs available. There's a
you're
lot of
right, because
opportunity
like you said, it's a
out there
job
these
seekers
days.
market for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And how do you connect? How do you connect if you can't put your hand on somebody's arm or shake their hand, or how do you connect through Zoom? So there's a whole set of skills that and we might have to give up. A lot of people say, no, I'm not shaking hands anymore. What's the point? It's a silly gesture, and
Right,
germs, I don't want
right.
germs. So that might be little things that you give up, but it's like, how do you connect? How do you connect when you don't have the body in front of you? I mean, you do on screen, but that's a whole different game. I think we're doing pretty good. We're trying, but just concepts, we're going to just have to adapt and make them as flexible as we can, and keep learning and keep adjusting. And that, I think we have to be, yeah, like I like your word, cognizant. We got to be cognizant of what's required today, and maybe leadership is even more demanding than it once was. I think
Well,
it
I'm
might
sure
be.
it is. And it's also my most recent interview was with a gentleman, Will Sullivan, who talks about kindness
Mm,
and putting your people first, not the customers, your people, and
wow.
coming to kindness and caring and being kind, because it's so easy today. We all have thresholds of being annoyed or angry, and we forget human kindness, connection is so important.
Wow. You know what? I am going to end on that because we're almost out of time. What a new concept. I love it. Rather than be kindness, but to your people first, not your customers. What a great way to end this show, because that is something, a whole new concept. We got to adapt and get rid of the old one. Terry, thank you so much. As always, a pure delight talking to you.
Always.
So we'll say bye to everybody, and we'll see you next month.
Happy summer, and remember kindness and caring.
I love it. I love it. Take care.
Be
Bye-bye.
well.